All right, so we had just gone through part of that box of our first edition set, and we just kind of went through the cards really fast. So I think, Chris, we wanted to kind of just take them out one by one and just show everyone the cards from our sets.
Yeah, I think that's right. So, as you can see here, I have this box with me down here, and I'm just gonna start taking stuff out, going through it. I think we're gonna start with Jungle.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh,
it's a little close. So this one not like this.
yeah. Can you get that closer? So there's a hollow Clefable there. And I don't remember much about, like, I think I remember as a kid just remembering that there was that pre-release version, right? And I don't remember how we got that. Maybe it was at a tournament or something, but then so this, like, pulling this card to us wasn't anything super exciting because we had that pre-release one.
Yeah, I think pre-release one. It was in a magazine. Can't remember if it was Wizards of the Coast or Scry or Beckett or one of those, but I recall it being in a magazine somewhere. Could
Yeah.
be wrong. We should probably look it up, but cool. And then
Electrode. Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about this guy, at least the non-hollow version, um, when we went through that box. Nothing too crazy there, other than like they made a hollow of Electrode when there was already a rare in base set.
yeah, which was interesting choice. And then one of the things that was interesting along with or different in Jungle, right, is they introduced the hollow, non-hollow editions of cards,
Mm-hmm.
which was an interesting choice. Definitely feels like it was maybe a money grab, but
Yeah,
all card games do that. So
yeah, and I don't think that there was that much of like game changing rares and hollows in Jungle, right? Like I don't know that any of these guys were necessarily played in many decks.
so I think when we get to, so I think
I think
the one,
there's one rare that I'm thinking of.
yeah, there's one rare that I'm thinking of, and what's interesting is I think since I feel like back in the day I played meta on accident. And actually, in a lot of games, it feels like we just found our way to meta, and it was harder back then because resources were so
Yeah, the internet wasn't as crazy as it is today.
yeah.
So here's a Flareon. I guess what was cool about this is, this was Eevee's introduction to the TCG.
Yeah, so, so
So
I think
you,
all the evolutions, the first three were in the set, right?
yeah,
So, man, if you look at some of the art, like back in the day, this art was awesome. The foils were awesome, but looking at some of the foil art in not only Pokemon but some of the other games, like this stuff is just feels just so basic and
yeah,
not great. But it is very nostalgic to look back through these things. So
yeah. I really like that Jolteon. I think that was my favorite of the evolutions. So definitely cool pulling that guy.
yeah. And again, I think this set wasn't chock full of game changing cards.
I do think that the one thing about Jungle is like Pokemon really started taking off during Jungle. Like
Yeah,
this was like when this set came out, Chris. I think this is when we had to like wait in line at like Wizards of the Coast stores, and there were like pack limits. It was
yeah, man.
basically it was
Yeah,
basically like a box a person was your pack limit.
yeah. I was just thinking about this right before we jumped on the call. I recall you being so young, but you and
Mm-hmm.
me being so into it that like our dad gave us both cash. And so all three of us were waiting in line. And I think like you got to the front of
Yeah,
the line and they're like, where's your dad? Because I don't remember how old you were, but you were so young. And we were both super short. So we probably looked younger
yeah,
than we actually were. So it was really sus for
yeah.
somebody like I don't know how for your age and your height to be like, yeah, I got like, oh, how much was it back in the day? Was it
Also, it was like $3 a pack, so it was over
yeah, it's like
$100.
120. You probably had like
Yeah.
120 in cash as like a 9-year-old or however old you were.
So it
Uh,
was funny. I remember. We can flip to the next card while we talk. But the cashier at Wizards of the Coast was like, he was like asking me questions like, "Where's your parent?" Because we didn't just go all in a line. Like we staggered ourselves throughout the line. Um, and I remember the Wizards of the Coast cashier guy was like, "Hey, where's your mom? Where's your dad?" I'm like, "Oh, my mom's shopping for clothes." And he's like, "Oh, where'd you get all this money?" I'm like, "Saved up birthdays and Christmas." And I remember like my dad was probably like 5 or 6 customers behind or in front, and he overheard me. And when I remember just like leaving the store, my dad was like, "I was surprised that like you didn't like lock up and you answered the guy's questions." So
I don't know what that says about your personality back then or now, but yeah.
I mean, back like when I was a little kid, I was like pretty shy too. So
Yeah,
like
same, same, yeah.
so like I think it was like super surprising that I was able to just clap right back at the cashier there.
To be fair, that cashier probably wasn't like a very old person either,
Yeah,
like a teen. Not looking back on it, right? We were so young, but like probably was a teenager that was manning
yeah.
that post. So yeah, yeah,
It's funny though because like usually you think of like people working retail and you're like these people don't care, right? Like they like apparently this one guy cared.
uh,
So this Mr. Mime, this guy was played, right?
I can't remember. I think so. But I don't think a lot. I think he helped counter some of the things that were meta at the time.
So I can't quite read, but I remember like there was something about that power.
Whenever an attack, including your own, does 30 or more damage to Mr. Mime, after
Yeah.
applying weakness and resistance to prevent that damage, this power can't be used if Mr. Mime is asleep, confused, or paralyzed.
So that's why like people were playing like the Hitmonchan and stuff because like you could only take Mr. Mime out like 10, 20 at a time.
Yeah, that's right. I do recall that. That's yeah. So he was good, yeah, but the his HP at 40, that power definitely made up for it.
Yeah.
So I can't remember, was Hitmonchan weak to psychic? Because he's fighting?
Probably. I I don't remember weaknesses and stuff at all anymore.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Nidoqueen, nothing too crazy. I think with this.
No, yeah. Nothing to say here.
Yeah, Hitmonchan was weak to psychic also. So
Gotcha. Yeah.
sometimes power, even though like the damage wasn't very high. Meditate does 10 damage plus 10 more damage for each damage counter on the defending Pokemon. Just 20.
Yeah.
Hitmonchan was a 70 HP Pokemon, so okay. Nidoqueen, nothing really to talk
Well,
about there.
because Pokemon was it was a 60 card deck, right? And you lose by running out of cards?
You could, yeah.
Yeah, so I
Yep.
feel like Mr. Mime was part of some type of like stall
Yeah,
type
so
of deck.
later in this deck or in this set, I think Lickitung is a card that helped stall because it paralyzed and confused Pokemon, which prevented them from attacking every turn. So there were definitely stall tactics, a couple of stall decks in play when Jungle got released. And the only reason I know about this is I sort of looked it up. Somebody I know at work turned me on to some sites about like the meta back in '99 with base jungle and fossil. So since we're sort of going through that, I quickly read it or skimmed it, and I think that was what happened there. So
Yeah.
so Pidgeot, yeah, nothing exciting with Pidgeot.
So the one thing I remember about Pidgeot is that was the last foil that we needed to complete our jungle set. So
Yeah.
it took us a little while, even though we bought a lot of packs to get this complete set.
Yeah, for as much as Pokemon and other trading card, like the other trading card games we were involved in, I don't feel like outside of base set we traded for too many cards.
Yeah.
I think like right after base set, we're like, oh man, this is cool. We
Mhm.
just decided to try to rip like
Yeah.
as much as we could to try to get sets, and that went for Pokemon or when we switched to Dragon Ball Z. Uh, there were just a
Yeah.
lot of boxes lined at the house. So
Can you check the condition on this? I think this might be our worst condition jungle card.
so what was interesting, I was looking at a bunch of these jungle cards, and I hate to take these out, but I don't know if they were not cut well, or like relative to how they're cut nowadays. Um, there is like you can tell like on the edges of this on the front of the card.
Yeah.
There's like edging. You can see oil coming through.
Have you seen that on other cards, or are you just seeing that on this one?
No, I've seen. I'm like as I'm going through the set, I see it like on every card.
Gotcha.
So I wonder how hard it is to find like a nice 10 on a jungle set. Let's look at the back. The back is the place I think Yumi spent a lot of time, or it was easiest to tell. Yeah, so there's like some scuffing here.
Yeah.
Bottoms on the top here. It's probably really hard to tell on a white background. Next video, I'll make sure to get a black.
Yeah. I think that the Pidgeot, I think we did have to trade for it. I don't think we pulled him.
Really? Well,
yeah. I think it was like really annoying because like we just could never, because like you would just pull other foils, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, also because it's Pidgeot.
Yeah.
It's like a very exciting Pokemon to begin with in the world of Pokemon. So. All right, next up.
Pinsir. Yeah, I don't remember anything special about him.
No, I think looking at the card, like the cost of his second attack is just so high, like 4 energy. Just too high. But
yep.
I do remember liking the card art for this card also. But special. All right. This guy.
Yeah, this guy is the one that I was remembering.
Yeah. Well, I think on top of it being a good card, wasn't Scyther one of your? Feels like we had a lot of favorite Pokemon each, but it was one of your.
Yeah, and I don't know if like I liked him before the card game or not. Like I don't remember if I liked him in Game Boy or if I like just started liking him because of like using him in the card game and then being like, oh, he looks pretty cool. He's just got like scythes on his hands.
Yeah. Can't remember either, but I think why this card made its way into multiple decks, not just meta decks, but like it's a grass type Pokemon, but the attack was 3 colorless, so you just throw it into any deck and automatically have a more diversified deck, which helped in any deck, right? Any card game, diversification is key. So this helped it a lot.
Yep. So you could use those double colorless and a grass. So Chris and I forgot that YouTube limits the length of our videos. So this was cut a little abruptly, but we'll be posting another video here shortly. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.